Okay. Hey guys, Jeff from Home Renovision here. I was recently in a live show and somebody called in and asked an interesting question. Well, they didn't call in, they put it in the comment section in the live chat. They wanted to know about if they were to get into the trades, knowing what I know now, looking back through my career, what trade would I have picked in the early days? That's a great question because hindsight is 20/20. You know, the answer to that question is actually, it's twofold. You have to decide for yourself first if you've got the luxury of the time and the financial capacity to go get trained in a formal trade or not. Now, there's a lot of information out there, and even governments are advertising about how trades are good paying jobs. And truth of it is yeah, you can do really well and make a good living in your trade. But at the end of the day, knowing which one is best for you, it comes down to personality and what you enjoy doing, right? If you don't enjoy what you're doing, then you're gonna be miserable. I'm gonna jump into the live show. We're gonna hear the answer there because it was an interesting answer, and then we'll come back and I'll discuss a little bit more with you. We got a shortage of skilled labor. What's the best one to pick if I'm thinking of changing careers? Right? Well, you know, my money's always been on electricians. Generally it's the cleanest of the jobs and the most lucrative, and in most situations you have to have a license that's somewhat doable and doesn't require a PhD. I mean, being a plumber is still a great job, right? If the things that a plumber does don't bother you, then that's a great job too. But I've always found that electricians, that code is changing so fast. Every time you touch a job, you got to get an electrician nowadays. And more districts are mandating an actual licensed electrician to do the job. So it's becoming one of those things where they're in high demand and have been for a long time. And there's a process where you got to put in so many hours under a licensed electrician in order to qualify for your license and your exams, and all of these kind of processes really. Yeah, so there's Thomas. He says his Delta Universal valve is cheap. Don't worry about it. Half inch. Move on. So the funny thing about the skilled trades, every trade requires a certain level of skill, and every trade is something that you can perfect over time and get better and better and better at what you do and become more valuable. But in today's marketplace, there are only a certain number of people that can afford to hire a skilled trade, right? So if you have the ability to get the good education, become an electrician or get your gas license or work with plumbing, that's great. I think those are probably the three that are on the top of my list if you have time to get educated. But it can take a couple years, even 3 or 4, to do the education and apprenticeship before you're making a good living. Now, on the flip side, as a homeowner, not everybody needs to hire a plumber, but everyone needs to hire an electrician in most cases. So most jurisdictions require a licensed electrician. So think at the end of the day, electricians are cleaner, they're more in demand, which also makes it harder to get that job. If you can find someone who'll take you on as an apprentice and you can go to school, that's a great option. But the truth is, for me, I didn't have that option. I got married when I was 19, and I had to make money in a hurry. So the best option for me was actually paint and drywall. I already knew a fair amount about that, and it gave me the good footing so that I could branch out and get into general renovations and becoming a GC. So there is no right answer, guys. The right answer is, what do you enjoy doing? Because if drywall makes you crazy and you're not any good at it, going to work every day like that, it might put you in the nut house. At the same time, there is something really rewarding about building something from scratch and knowing that you did it yourself. And you just can't take that away from it. Now, to sum it all up, I got this good advice. If you are artistic, paint and drywall is a good mix for you. If you are more detail-oriented and more of a numbers guy, then being an electrician is a good idea for you, or even being a carpenter. And if you like the dirt, then be a plumber. They all work, they're all in demand. And if you're smart, you'll watch the other guys do their trades over the years, you'll pick up a lot of their skills, and then you'll have a nice rounded education. You'll be the handiest guy in your neighborhood. And listen, if this kind of information is helpful, give us a thumbs up.
Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we're over here working on our master bedroom. And now if you like getting these videos that are just a couple minutes long and you can learn a couple tips, watch me do a little bit of work, then click the link right over here. It's got a playlist of all the recent videos that we're doing like this. It's just a great way to get a good bit of information in a short amount of time. See you soon.